Hospitals go through a lot of energy.
Today we're going on a little river trip down the delta.
We wanted to prove that ecotourism is a viable model.
Welcome to Save My Planet. I'm Stephen Brooks, here in the Osa Peninsula of Costa Rica. This dense tropical rainforest has been called one of the most biologically intense places on Earth, and it's pretty easy to see why. The Osa is home to hundreds of thousands of plant and animal species, and it plays a fundamental role in helping to regulate our global climate. But more about that later. First, have you ever thought about the collective carbon footprint of hospitals? It's huge. From water and energy consumption to carbon dioxide emissions, the healthcare industry is ready for a sustainability upgrade.
The U.S. Department of Energy indicates that hospitals are one of the largest energy users in the country. They use about twice what you might find in an office building. Now, part of the reason for that is that we're open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So we're heating and cooling, we have lighting on, we have equipment running. Rush University Medical Center is an academic medical center. We're here to not only care for patients, but to not leave behind, major problems. We want to do our part to really reduce and potentially eliminate some of the footprint we might leave behind.
In 2003, we did little or nothing green here at Rush. We recycled a little bit, and of course now it's completely, utterly changed. Everyone kind of lives and talks green on a daily basis.
Rush generates more than 4,000 tons of waste in a year. About half of that waste is paper. Another 20% is plastics. And so our goal has been to try and recycle as much of that as we can. One of the big things that we've done is to actually set up these recycling stations around campus in many of the public areas.
And then there's the problem of all that precious H2O that the hospitals are drinking up.
Hospitals use a lot of water in a year. Rush uses over 100 million gallons of water. That goes for a lot of different things. We have more than 700 patient rooms, and so each of those rooms has bathrooms that are being used by the patients. Our staff is washing hands. One of our water-saving initiatives was to actually look at how we clean our floors. We mop every floor in every room every day, and we shifted away from traditional cotton mops. We've moved now to these microfiber mops. These microfibers actually then absorb the water they need to clean the floor without taking quite so much of the actual water into it. We've saved about 500,000 gallons of water by switching to these microfiber mops.
500,000 gallons? Wow, the little things really do add up. Another big issue that hospitals are facing is the amount of unused medical equipment that's ending up in the trash. But these guys figured out a way to tackle the problem. They share these desperately needed supplies with developing countries.
Rush Remedies is a program that our medical staff and medical students started several years ago. And it's an effort to gather up medical supplies that we will not use. So it's clean product, but because packaging has been opened, it will not be used on other patients.
Remedy was pretty much started by observation in the OR suite that things were being unused but were then being thrown out after the surgery. The OR staff gathers up the supplies and makes sure they come back to the warehouse where they are therefore packaged and shipped by volunteers to other countries. This is our staging area that we have set up for sort of loose items, needles and syringes. We have sutures over here. We have various tubing that might be able to use. So this is an example of a pallet that we are getting ready for shipment, and it has various surgical packs in it. So this is a total knee pack used to replace a knee. All these things are wrapped up, so if someone was going in here for one item, they wouldn't necessarily be unsterilizing the rest of the materials. Here we have 4 pallets full of supplies that otherwise would have ended up in a landfill and are now being shipped off to other countries that might be able to use them.
From Afghanistan to Haiti, people from all over the world have been helped by this program. Talk about healthcare reform, and it doesn't stop there.
We're in the process of building a major new wing to the hospital.
The transformation program consists of actually 4 new buildings. The center point is the East Tower. It will be the largest full-service teaching facility in the United States that will be gold LEED certified.
LEED is a green building rating system. It stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design.
It's mandated for the materials in the building to be 20% recycled product, and likewise the materials all have to come within 500 miles of Chicago. We're having hands-free faucets in the entire facility. It does not draw battery power, but think of a solar-powered calculator. That's exactly how it works. So with this, we're going to have about a 30% water savings in the building.
All of the new patient rooms actually will have windows to the outside. That's part of the design of the building. If you look at it, we call it the butterfly, but it creates hallways such that every room has an outside window, and it will allow a lot more natural light into the hospital.
The whole premise is to use natural light coming through windows, skylights, as opposed to artificial light.
Our goal is to find initiatives that will in fact reduce our costs, but there are some things we've put in place just because we believe it is the thing that we need to do.
People that talk about green, the first thing they shy away from is it costs too much. I can't do it. I don't have the time to do it. And what we've found, obviously the first time cost is going to be a little bit more expensive. The long-term payback is really good and a lot better than conventional. It's a big deal for healthcare.
It sure is. Studies show that patients that are treated in green hospitals have a lower rate of infection. Now that's good medicine. Up next, we're going to travel around the world to Myanmar and take a first-hand look at global warming. Welcome back to Save My Planet. Global warming isn't something that's on the horizon. Most scientists agree that it's already here and having a real impact. In 2008, Cyclone Nargis hit the southern coast of Myanmar, the country formerly known as Burma, causing massive flooding and a huge loss of life. To help those affected and to make sure this kind of damage doesn't happen again, the United Nations World Food Program came in to build dikes, plant trees, and to assess the effects of global warming firsthand. To capture the story, the WFP's Jonathan Dumont came equipped with a camcorder and a big to-do list.
Down here in southern Myanmar are still struggling to pick themselves up by their bootstraps over 1 year after the cyclone Nargis hit. The World Food Program is helping them by providing them with food aid, but also food for work projects that are helping them rebuild roads and also build dikes that are preventing the fields from being flooded by the rising seas.
Today we're going on a little river trip down the delta to visit a distribution of food and a dike food for work project where we're trying to help people by building up walls that protect land from the high seas that are happening due to climate change. We have to go by boat because that's the only way to get there around these parts.
We're all familiar with the term carbon footprint, but what does it actually look like? Most experts agree that carbon emissions from things like factories and cars contribute to global warming, which can cause sea levels to rise. In places like Myanmar, the salty seawater washes over the land and damages crops. By building up these dikes, we can help keep the salt water at bay.
This area is mostly the southern part. This is quite close to the sea. And during the cyclone Nargis is covered by the seawater. And even this river is also like a salty water. And then because of the sea level is increasing, the salty water is very easy to enter to the farmland.
So far, the World Food Program has helped build more than 100 kilometers of dikes. But it's a big job, and it takes a whole village to put it all together. In exchange for labor, the World Food Program provides rice and other food to the workers. It's a win-win. The sea is held back while the villagers are fed. The World Food Program has also begun a project to plant trees along the riverbanks to help guard against farmland erosion.
After 3 years, they can use like a fuel, firewood, and after 7 or 8 years, they can use for the shelter construction. The WFP supported 3,500 plants of the tree plantation project, and then the project is ongoing.
And these new trees won't just benefit the people of Myanmar, they'll help the rest of the planet too by reducing levels of carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas that's tied to global warming. As we travel through Myanmar, it's easy to see another result of the cyclone, the toll it's taken on transportation.
Couldn't quite figure out why it would take 7-8 hours to get there when we're so close. And now I realize why, because this is where the road stops and the dirt starts. Now that it's raining, where the mud starts.
To help put the roads back together, the World Food Program is organizing locals to rebuild. People like Ai are among those benefiting from the project. She told me that when the storm hit her village, she took shelter in a tree, holding her 2-year-old sister. But the winds and waves came in so fast that the baby was swept from her arms. 6 of the 9 members of her family died that night. She now lives with her uncle and 400 other Naga survivors in this village. In the wake of her loss, Ai told me the only thing that makes her happy is working. The new roads will help connect the villages and allow people to get to the main highways, making work and life a little easier.
Most of the villagers, day to day, they have to walk through the muddy. And it took half an hour at least to reach the Patagong village before they renovate the road. After Food for What Road project, it took 10 minutes only.
There's still a long road ahead to help the people of Myanmar get back on their feet. But by protecting the land against the effects of climate change and rising sea levels, we're hoping to make an impact that's both local and global.
Thanks, Jonathan. Seeing the devastation of the cyclone in Myanmar is a real wake-up call to the seriousness of global warming and the amount of work that still needs to be done. Up next, we're going to travel to the Osa Peninsula in Costa Rica and see why it's called the lungs of the earth.
At the crossroads of an entire hemisphere is a land where the forces of nature have converged to create amazing new life forms and brilliant new ways of living. A land of astounding natural beauty and innovative people who are reshaping their lives with 21st century technology and a commitment to transform the future. Beauty beyond description, vision beyond expectation. Costa Rica, no artificial ingredients.
Welcome back to Save My Planet. We're here in the tropical rainforest in the Osa Peninsula of Costa Rica, a place that produces such massive amounts of oxygen, it's known as the lungs of the earth. It's also one of the most biologically diverse regions in the world. Half of all the species found in Costa Rica call this place home. It's no wonder then that people here are doing everything they can to preserve and protect this unique and magical place. I'm here with Danilo Alvarez, who is a naturalist guide here in the Laparios Reserve, and this forest is incredible. Tell me about this place, Danilo.
This reserve starting in 1990, yes. Okay. It's the time where the owners, the Laparios, to buy the property, but they love the forest. They want to conserve that area. The biologists count 700 species of trees just here in the Osa Peninsula.
Wait, 700 species of just trees?
Yes, trees,
wow.
Plus small plants.
It's incredible.
Some examples are, that tree here is a mahogany. Wow. Mahogany is pretty good for furniture, but it's in danger now. They like 200 years to get that size.
Wow, it's so incredible. Can we walk in deeper and check it out more?
Sure, let's go.
Vamos. And how big is this reserve?
The Laparios reserve is 1,000 acres. 80% of the property is still primary.
Primary forests are forests that have never been cut, have never been touched. And then secondary forest is forest that is now regenerating, what, 20, 30 years?
It's over there. The spider monkey is the biggest species, and its tail is really prehensile. You can grab it with the tail. Look, it's sitting right on the branch.
Oh, wow.
Those monkeys travel in families. They are vegetarian.
They're vegetarian and they travel with their families. That's cool. Check this out. It's a poison dart frog.
That tree over there with the white bar, that kind of tree we call Tetragasseris panamensis, or we call calamine tree, because we can use the sap for mosquito bites, sunburns, antiseptic.
Cool.
And also the sap is very combustible.
Whoa. You know, you never know. I mean, it just looks like, you know, all these other trees, but all these plants and trees have so many uses. This is just another example of why we need to protect these forests. You never know what they're going to do.
Is it pretty? Give me your arm. Okay, put the arm here. See?
Tattoo fern. That's cool. So why does it do that?
Well, this plant has the wax underneath because the wax protecting the leaf for bacteria and fungus. And this is the defense mechanism.
So this will protect me from bacteria and fungus?
We use that wax, put it in the baby. Use it like baby powder.
That's incredible. Just another example of the bounty that you find in the forest and how many incredible uses. Here we are in one of the many waterfalls here in the La Barrios Reserve. I mean, it's been just an incredible walk. So beautiful, and Danilo just knows so much. So where does this water come from, Danilo?
That water comes from the spring. There's another spring maybe 200 meters up, and they run all the year.
I just love how nature is just so incredible and vibrant, and this water is crystal clear because there's no agriculture, there's no farm.
Very pure.
Nice.
Because it's not polluted.
You know, I just imagine, you know, this forest has been like protected and passed on, and now it's our responsibility to continue doing that.
If you're not protecting, it's going to disappear forever because many people want to cut the trees. Many people want to get money.
You know, some of these trees, they only come from, you know, a few hectares. I mean, they come from really small areas. So who knows the importance of those trees into the bigger system. That's why it's so important to protect these forests. Wow, what a spectacular place. When we come back, we'll see how the La Barrios Eco Lodge created this incredible private reserve and dedicated itself to the idea that a forest left standing is more valuable than a forest cut down. Welcome back to Save My Planet. We're here at the La Barrios Reserve on the Osa Peninsula in Costa Rica, one of the few remaining lowland tropical rainforests in the world. It's an area so biologically valuable that some people have dedicated their lives to preserving it. I'm here with John Lewis, who's the co-founder here at the La Barrios Eco Lodge and Reserve, and wow, what an amazing time we've been having here. 1,000 acres, 16 rooms, such a small project, so much land, and it's profitable. How has that happened?
The idea was we wanted to prove that ecotourism is a viable model. So we're preserving a fairly large piece of land with a very small project. And the attraction here is the way we do things.
I'm here with Edwin Villarreal, and he is one of the guides here at the La Barrios Reserve, and some amazing work they're doing here. Reforestation. Tell me about it, Edwin.
All right. This is the guests are planting all the trees in La Barrios. The guests, all the guests. Yeah. We collect the seeds on the primary forest, and then all the guests plant the trees. We have planted so far like probably 10,000 trees.
That's amazing. I mean, imagine going to a hotel and being a guest there and actually being able to plant trees and be a part of the reforestation. That's cool. It's so great that you're teaching all the tourists that come through here, but do you feel like you're taking some of these lessons back home into your own life and your own families?
To be honest, when I was...
only be honest with me, Edwin.
Yeah. Okay. When I was like 15 years old, my father has a farm. So with my father, we cut the rainforest to plant crops. So we burned all the trees. And now I'm doing the opposite thing.
This is the Osa Peninsula. We call rainforest lowland.
Guides are extremely special because what I think people take away from a vacation like this in the wilderness is they remember the guide. They remember the time in the forest. They remember the lessons that they were taught.
Look at him.
Look at this, looks like a,
We found some white-faced monkey. Tell me about this, Alberto.
Yes, Stephen, this is one of the 4 species of monkey that we have in Costa Rica. Scientists consider this monkey, after human and after the chimpanzee, the most intelligent terrestrial.
I mean, don't get me wrong, they're cute and cuddly and everything, but what role do they play in the forest here?
Well, they're important. As everything in the forest is important. They spread a lot of seeds. Sometimes they eat fruit, so the droppings may be miles away, so they disperse the seed. And they're part of the food chain. That's the reason that they travel in troops. If I am a monkey, I'm sleeping and I am alone, a boa snake or my predator, a wildcat could come and eat me.
Right.
But if I am with a bunch of people, hey, Alberto, wake up. Our predator is around.
oh, wow. How cool.
You have to see it.
Yeah.
Check the picture. La Parrillo for me was like a school, you know.
Wow.
Now I like to teach all the clients, hoping that they go to the United States or anywhere in the world. They share what we have here. If we protect the rainforest like this, more people are coming to visit us.
Wow.
And I am very proud of this.
The Osa Peninsula might seem like a million miles away from where you live, but as you can see, it's places like this that play a critical role in the overall health of the planet and an important part of all of our lives. I'm Stephen Brooks. See you next time.